Oh, Sunday night, Sunday night, Sunday night. What a glorious night it was indeed. Should have been to the surprise of absolutely no one what was going to happen. The Bears season was officially over in terms of any hope at the playoffs whatsoever. You got Patrick Mahomes riding into town with his Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the team that should have drafted him in 2017, but ultimately didn't because they had an infatuation with Mitchell damn Trubisky. Everybody had to know how this was going to go down, right? It went down exactly how the hell I expected it to go down. It went down exactly how the hell, frankly, it needed to go down. The Kansas City Chiefs rolled into Soldier Field on Sunday night and embarrassed the Bears. They humiliated the Bears. They brutalized the Bears. And they barely even had to try. Like, to me, when looking at that game on Sunday night, it was a critically important game for Bears fans, the coaching staff, the other players, the organization, because they needed to see the difference. They needed to see the difference between a real franchise quarterback and the quarterback that the Bears have instead. They needed to see Patrick Mahomes live in living color, in person, in a game that actually impacted the organization that they love. It's one thing to see Patrick Mahomes have an MVP season last year and say, well, that was last year. Look at the weapons he's got in that Chiefs offense, and he's got Andy Reid, and you can come up with all of these different excuses because it's at a distance. It doesn't connect and resonate the same. But here, right now, it connects and resonates, or at least it should, in the way that is meaningful, the way that is purposeful, the way that needs to happen. Like any real Bears fan to me, when people want to talk about, oh, you got to be a real fan. Any real fan should have wanted to have happen exactly what the hell happened on Sunday night, which is a only somewhat inspired, somewhat motivated Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs offense, knowing they got it in the bag, still spanking and dominating the Bears all over Soldier Field. And you watch that game, you felt like they weren't even really having to try. And they still dominated. The game was never in question. It was never in doubt. They beat the brakes off of the Bears 26-3. And by God, it didn't even feel like it was that close. And you look at this matchup, and it just so perfectly crystallized this 2019 season for the Chicago Bears. Mitchell Trubisky, in prime time, another performance. Matt Nagy, play caller, in prime time. Another one of those performances. The defense that people want to talk about statistically is elite. Well, let's stop this crap once and for all. They're not elite. They haven't been elite this year. And even when you use measurements such as yards allowed or points allowed, that can be incredibly misleading. Because even high-powered offenses like the Chiefs, if they know they don't have to score 35 or 40 points to beat the Bears, the motivation level is not the same. The execution ends up not being the same. And teams can play a lot more conservatively in the second half because they know that the Bears have absolutely no chance of coming back and winning. That's the reality. So when you use like, well, the Bears are giving up this number of points and it's not that bad. No, as an elite defense, if they were truly elite, they would give up far fewer points. In this type of matchup, and granted, it wouldn't have mattered because Mitchell Trubisky sucks, Matt Nagy as a play caller sucks, and this Bears team, specifically the offense, sucks as a result. The Bears defense could have at least allowed maybe 13 or 16 points. Then you could give it more of a college try to try and say they're an elite defense, but they're not. They're not. But it really comes down to, bottom line, is the offense. And if you're a Bears fan, if you have been still making excuses after excuses after excuses for Mitchell Trubisky, if this performance on Sunday night by him and the performance by Patrick Mahomes on Sunday night doesn't send you the message and doesn't get it through your thick skulls that Mitch isn't the guy, he's never going to be the guy, just because you want him to be, doesn't mean that you're a better fan. Just because you want him to be, in no way, shape, or form, means that it's ever going to be true. So stop it! This is the game that the Bears organization, the freaking coaches, the players, fans needed. It should have felt kind of therapeutic. Because it should eliminate all doubt. But of course, we're talking about the Bears, so this organization that has made it to the playoffs 8 times in the past 30 seasons somehow is going to get a freaking pass because we love the mediocrity of the Midway. Oh, Ryan Pace will fix it. Based off of what? 1 playoff appearance in 5 years. It took him 4 years to even get a playoff team in his rebuild. Because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He screwed up the head coach once. Looks like he screwed up the head coach a second time. And oh, by the way, in a draft that featured 2 franchise quarterbacks and Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson respectively, getting picked at 10 and 12, involving teams like the Chiefs and Texans trading up big time to go get these guys, the Chicago Bears panicked and went from 3 to 2 to take the one guy out of those top 3 that wasn't a franchise guy in Trubisky. And yes, I know that's in the past, and you can't change the past. But it's that past, it's that history that matters. Because if you don't learn from the past and history, you are doomed to fail. You are doomed to repeat it again. Why in the hell would you want to give Ryan Pace another opportunity when he already screwed up so horrendously bad at quarterback? So horrendously bad. It wasn't like the Bears missed out on Mahomes and Watson because they were taking at picks 1 and 2, and Trubisky's what you had left at 3, and they felt the need to kind of panic and have to take a young quarterback and hope it works out. No. He looked at Mahomes, he looked at Watson, and thought Trubisky was the best guy. And then didn't even understand how the draft was laid out and playing out, and thought he needed to move up to 3 to 2. Which, mind you, if the 49ers were getting real offers for that pick, they sure as hell wouldn't have entertained moving down from 2 to 3. Just saying. But it was so sad and embarrassing and just flat out boring to watch another mediocre Bears offense. Like, you've got an offensive-minded head coach and the offense absolutely sucks. Like, they're significantly worse than last year. And as much as you could blame the regression of Trubisky on Trubisky, and that's valid, the blame's got to go other places too. If Nagy hasn't sat there and delegated any of these play calling responsibilities, then he must do so or he must be fired. Like, this is the type of game that should have exposed just how foolish this Bears organization is and just how foolish it is for so many fans to sit there and think that things are a whole hell of a lot better than they actually are. You saw a Chiefs team give up half an effort realistically and still beat the brakes off your boys. Wake up. Wake up. This organization needs dramatic, radical changes. And to trot out Mitchell Trubisky as the unquestioned, unchallenged starter in 2020 shows that the Bears organization, Bears fans, have learned nothing, and it would be yet another wasted season in our lives as Bears fans. It is time to come to your damn senses. If that game Sunday night didn't do it to you, then honestly, you deserve the mediocrity that is to follow.